Yes, good afternoon, all of you. In continuation with the unit which we were proceeding, that is literary criticism, one chapter which is of utmost importance for every student is, which comes under the section of literary criticism also, is Wordsworth Preface to the Lyrical Ballads. And this portion, Wordsworth Preface to Lyrical Ballads, will give you an idea of Wordsworth's theory of poetry as spelled out in the preface to the second edition of Lyrical Ballads. His view of poetic diction and Coleridge's estimate of Wordsworth's view of poetic diction would also be taken into consideration after some time. And students, I hope that you must have studied a lot about the Lyrical Ballads, which is a volume of poems which was first issued anonymously by Wordsworth and Coleridge in 1798. These two great writers had met in 1795, and there was a mutual recognition of genius. And both these poets believed that verse written in the language of the lower and the middle class could express exactly the fundamentals of human nature. And the first volume of 1798, which was published with a short foreword in which Wordsworth stated very briefly the main points of his argument. And don't forget that the second edition, which was published in 1800, with a lot many poems added to it, and a much longer and more detailed preface, which was revised again and expanded in 1802. And a lot of additions, significant additions about the definition of the poet. And yes, the universality and value of poetry. So this, the genius of Wordsworth and Coleridge could be seen in this entire section. The subject matter of the preface can be discussed under 4 headings. What is these 4 headings, students? पहली heading है what is poetry? What is poetry? And second is, what are the defining characteristics of a poet? Defining characteristics of a poet. Number 3, the value of poetry. The value of poetry. And number 4, the question of poetic diction. The question of poetic diction. So the entire subject matter of the preface can be discussed under these 4 points, 4 heads. Remember this. This will very much help you in your interviews. What is poetry? Defining the characteristics of a poet, the value of poetry, and the question of poetic diction. Now, suppose if we define what is poetry, तो Wordsworth का क्या आंसर है? Do you know what is the answer of Wordsworth? Very simple. You must have studied, and I have taken many times this line. All good poetry is a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. But though this be true, poems to which any value can be attached, were never produced on any variety of subjects by a man who, being possessed of more than usual organic sensibility, had also thought long and deeply. So this is a short definition of poetry by Wordsworth, and he has given a great emphasis in this statement. Where? On the spontaneous expression, but the role of the rational mind, of premeditation, of getting accustomed to a particular mode of thinking and feeling is duly recognized. Poetry is not the turning loose of emotions and feelings. Feelings are continuously directed by thoughts. And if we take the words of T.S. Eliot, the words, the poet thinks his feelings and feels his thoughts. So Wordsworth has modified his definition of poetry in a later passage of the preface to the lyrical ballads. उसने खुद लिखा है, क्या लिखा है? I have said poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings, and it takes its origin from emotion recollected in tranquility. Hence, two things are to be observed: spontaneity and powerful feeling. The one ensures unhindered experiences of the other, and energy which conveys feeling spontaneously. So we can say that poetry is not lifeless artistry or mere craftsmanship. It originates from and is sustained by a genuine and sincere personal feeling. And yes, paradoxically, in this lies its universal appeal, the universality. And now we will discuss the characteristics. The first point we have discussed. The second point is the poet's characteristics. And here in this point, the poet Wordsworth talks about the three main characteristics of a poet. पहला characteristic poet का है, according to Wordsworth, that the poet is exceptionally sensitive, endued with more than lively sensibility, a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of tenderness, which enables him not only to feel that which happens to him personally, but also to experience that which may happen to others. तो ये पहला कैरेक्टरिस्टिक उसने बताया, that the poet is exceptionally sensitive. दूसरा बताया that he is a man speaking to men. He is a man speaking to men, and which means that poetry is not mere self-indulgence, and that the poet is a social being with a responsibility, and which was later on developed by Wordsworth into a doctrine. And what is that doctrine, students? Every great poet is a teacher. और आपको याद होगा उसने लिखा है, I wish either to be considered a teacher or nothing. तो दूसरा हुआ ये पॉइंट. और तीसरा कैरेक्टरिस्टिक उसने क्या बताया है? The poet is endowed with an extraordinarily strong imagination, so that he is affected by absent things as if they were present. And as a true poet, as a great poet, as a poet of man, as a poet of nature, as a spiritual poet, he himself possessed a very strong imagination, so that the beauteous forms seen by him once were ever present to his mind's eye and could induce appropriate feelings and states of mind. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. And the good poet actually needs to blend two qualities of thought and feeling. And the one will not work without the other. Thought and feeling has to go parallel. So I hope students, you would have understood now these so important points of Wordsworth. The third point, students, here is the value of poetry. What is this? Poetry की value क्या है? What is the value of poetry? Wordsworth यहाँ पे कहता है, he is actually very much conscious of the truth of the fact that the medium of the poet is language, and language and the human mind act and react on each other. And from the poet's point of view, the poet has a positive role to play, though he does it indirectly by manipulating the medium of language. And language in poetry is actually manipulated to humanize the readers. And this universal function of poetry has become much more urgent in the modern industrial and mechanical age. जो वर्ड्सवर्थ ने समझा और एक्सपीरियंस किया और उसके बाद उसको बताया. The last point is the question of poetic diction. The question of poetic diction. Just one second. Ballads. So the question of poetic diction, आपने poetic diction term पढ़ा होगा, and this has been asked in the examination in the written questions also. So here I can say, we can discuss that the preface to the lyrical ballads, has put forward Wordsworth's theory of poetic diction, and which has always given us a lot of controversy since it was first elaborated. The crux of the theory is the romantic view that the poetic style is organic and not prescriptive. इसका मतलब ये होता है कि there should be a correlation between the creative language and the form that is given to it. वर्ड्सवर्थ ने एक ऐसे लिखा था जिसका नाम है Essay on Epitaphs. Wordsworth has written a essay known as Essay on Epitaphs, और उसमें यह लिखा था कि language is not the dress of thought, but its incarnation. So ये चीज समझने की है आपको कि Wordsworth has written that in his work Essay on Epitaphs, language is not the dress of thought, but its incarnation. And since every poet's mode of experience is very peculiar to him, it will find expression in a style appropriate to it. So Wordsworth here is not going the whole for the rustic language, but qualifies his enthusiasm for it. His own great poems were the product of a process like this, but in his enthusiasm to dislodge the hackneyed poetic diction of his day, and he has made some indiscreet remarks. Wordsworth basically, in his creative output, he obeys his creative impulse, so that in Coleridge's words, his poetic triumphs were achieved in spite of the unbalanced remarks which I have just told you. So these were the four major points which Wordsworth has discussed, and in short, I have tried to discuss with you here. After this, I would like to teach you here कोलरिज कि कोलरिज का क्या व्यू था वर्ड्सवर्थ की थ्योरी ऑफ डिक्शन पे. व्हाट वाज द व्यू, कोलरिजेस व्यू ऑन वर्ड्सवर्थ थ्योरी ऑफ डिक्शन. यहां पे I will also try to cover something of the Biographia Literaria. And as we all know that Coleridge's Biographia Literaria is actually an exposition and evaluation of Wordsworth's poetry. And to Coleridge, Wordsworth was the utmost greatest poet of the age. He may not place him as did Keats, only next to Shakespeare, but after Shakespeare and Milton, Coleridge considered him to be the third great poet of English and declared that their age will be known by Wordsworth. पूरी एज जानी जाएगी वर्ड्सवर्थ के नाम से. और देखिए कितनी सच बात है. एक लेटर भी लिखा था कोलरिज ने. उस लेटर में कोलरिज ने लिखा है that Wordsworth was the only man to whom at all time and in all modes of excellence I feel myself inferior to him. I feel myself a little man by his side. हमें अपने बगल में उसको खड़ा करके मैं अपने को बहुत छोटा महसूस करता हूं. And as a poet, Coleridge found Wordsworth's greatness in the union of deep feeling with profound thought and the fine balance of truth in observing, with the imaginative faculty in modifying the objects observed. And the glowing admiration did not prevent him from pointing out the essential drawbacks in Wordsworth's theory of poetic diction. और कोलरिज के तरफ से, according to Coleridge, Wordsworth was fully justified in his criticism of the artificiality and the unnaturalness of a poetic diction which had become stagnant and hindered rather than helped capture the exact curve of a creative writer's experience. But he disagrees with Wordsworth's view that the language of poetry should be the language of natural conversation of men under the influence of natural feelings. So this all we have read, you must have read. But today I'm trying to give you a concentrated picture exactly on the topic. Then Coleridge has also pointed out to the contradictions which exists in the ideas expressed in the preface to the lyrical ballads. On the one hand, Wordsworth would recommend for poetic use the very language of men, and on the other hand, insist on the principle of selection. Similarly, on the other hand, he would deny any essential difference between the language of poetry and that of prose, and on the other hand, dilate on the utility of the meter, how it affects the language in poetry. So आप डिफरेंस देख रहे हैं. सो ये एक चीज निकल के आई कोलरिज के द्वारा. एंड द प्रिंसिपल डिफरेंस between the language of prose and that of poetry is mere spontaneous effort which strives to hold in check the workings of passion, and the employment of meter also involves the use of the will and the violation of the poet. So now we will discuss one of the most significant aspects of Wordsworth's literary criticism in journal and the preface to the lyrical ballads, in particular, which is a concern for promoting a humane culture. Which is very important, students. इसको समझने की बात है, और क्वेश्चन कैसे भी आ जाएं, आपको नॉलेज होगी तो यू कैन एक्चुअली मार्क इट. वर्ड्सवर्थ के लिए literary art is not a circumambulation of words, but the manipulation of language for some exalted purpose. And the role of poetry had become particularly urgent in modern times. And in analyzing the causes of this crisis, Wordsworth very perceptibly sees the beginnings of mass society and mass culture. And among the causes of this crisis, he enumerates the accumulation of men in cities where the uniformity of their occupations produces a craving for the extraordinary incident. So, अब तक जो मैंने आपको पढ़ाया स्टूडेंट्स, आपको कैसा लगा? कोई ओके, चलिए, बहुत खुशी की बात है कि आप सभी लोगों को बहुत अच्छा लगा, और बहुत सरल तरीके से मैं कोशिश कर रहा हूं आपको समझाने की कि आपको ये समझ में आ जाए, जिससे आप कहीं भी बोल लें, आप लिख लें, इसकी थ्योरी को समझ जाएं और अकॉर्डिंगली क्वेश्चंस को सॉल्व कर पाएं. So नेक्स्ट हम लोग पढ़ने जा रहे हैं जो हमने बहुत पहले, याद होगा जब ब्रिटिश लिटरेचर पढ़ रहे थे तो मैंने आप सभी लोगों से कहा था कि हम आपको कभी मौका लगेगा तो बायोग्राफिया लिटरेरिया कोलरिज का पढ़ाएंगे. तो टुडे इज द डे when in continuation with the criticism part, because literary criticism में बायोग्राफिया लिटरेरिया आती है, it has a great role to play. So now we will start with Coleridge's Biographia Literaria, and this work was started or begun as a literary autobiography. But you know what? It ended up in discussions about Kant, Schelling, and Coleridge's perceptive criticism of Wordsworth's poetry, and a comprehensive statement on creative imagination, which constitute his most signal contribution to the literary criticism and theory. कहां से शुरू हुआ और कहां पे खत्म हुआ, सो ये आपको जानना बहुत जरूरी है बायोग्राफिया लिटरेरिया के बारे में. ओके स्टूडेंट्स, इसमें बहुत हम आपको फिल्टरेटेड पढ़ाएंगे जो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है आपके नेट के लिए. कोलरिज definition of poetry, his idea of the poet, and his poetical criticism, all these things revolve around his theory of creative imagination. And from this point of view, chapters 13 and 14, remember 13 and 14 of Biographia Literaria are very significant. कभी मौका लगेगा तो आप 13-14 चैप्टर को you can even go through. When I was in MA English, I still remember that I had read the details of this also. And Coleridge has built his theory on the basic distinction between fancy and imagination, which are terms which are used before him more or less indistinguishably to express the same thing. And he first refers to this significant distinction in chapter 4 of Biographia Literaria. इसको उसने डिस्कस भी किया था. और fancy imagination has always been very significant for the MA English students in the universities as well as for the UGC NET too. And Coleridge uses the term fancy for the 18th century view of imagination, which was essentially mechanical and determined by the law of association. Imagination on this view does not modify, much less does it transform the materials that it deals with, but merely reproduces them. अगर हम कांतियन टर्म्स की बात करें, कांत, स्केलियन, KANT उसे बनाए कांतियन. In Kantian terms, we should call it the reproductive imagination. Fancy must receive all its materials ready-made from the law of association. Coleridge does assign a minor role to fancy in the production of poetry. It is with him essentially a pejorative term because, as somebody has explained, the distinction between imagination as universally active in the consciousness and the same faculty is heightened power as a creative in a poetic sense. And in contrast to fancy, imagination is essentially creative. And Coleridge here subdivides imagination into primary and secondary imagination. The primary imagination is the elemental power of basic human perception, which enables us to identify, to discriminate, to synthesize, and thus to produce order out of disorder. The secondary or the artistic imagination coexists with the conscious will and is different in degree and mode of operation from the primary imagination. I think you must have understood the basic difference between them. Now, I'll give you the Coleridge's view of poetry and the poet. If we see Coleridge's definition of poetry, and the poet naturally arises from his views on imagination, and he begins with the distinction between poetry and poem. Poetry kya hai? Poetry is a term of wider connotation which he uses to cover most of the forms of imaginative literature and the other fine arts, whose immediate purpose is to impart pleasure through the medium of beauty. In his essay entitled On the Principles of Genial Criticism, ये जो essay है ये कोलरिज का लिखा हुआ है. In the essay entitled On the Principles of Genial Criticism, which is a part of Biographia Literaria. अगर कोई आपसे पूछे ऑन द प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ जीनियल क्रिटिसिज्म किसने लिखा है, तो कोलरिज ने लिखा है. और ये कहां से आया है? इट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ दिस एंटायर मोनुमेंटल वर्क बायोग्राफिया लिटरेरिया. उसमें उसने लिखा हुआ है कि ऑल द फाइन आर्ट्स आर डिफरेंट स्पीशीज ऑफ पोइट्री एंड दे एडमिट देयरफॉर ऑफ अ नेचुरल डिवीजन इनटू पोइट्री ऑफ लैंग्वेज. तो बहुत डिटेल है, उस डिटेल में जाने की हमें जरूरत नहीं है. एंड इन द पोइट्री ऑफ लैंग्वेज कोलरिज वुड इंक्लूड, to begin with, even unrhymed imaginative writing. The writing of Plato, the writing of Bishop Taylor furnish undeniable proofs that poetry of the highest kind may exist without meter. ये बहुत important point है. So Coleridge says that the poem proper combines the same elements as are found in imaginative prose compositions, and sometimes the purpose may be even communication of truth, and such communication may give us pleasure, but this pleasure is not the immediate end but is indirectly obtained, while pleasure is the immediate end of poetry. So हम इसको क्या कह सकते हैं according to Coleridge, that a poem is thus that species of composition which is opposed to works of science by proposing for its immediate object pleasure, not truth. And from all other species, it is discriminated by proposing to itself such delight from the whole as is compatible with a distinct gratification from each component. And such a poem Coleridge calls a legitimate poem, and the parts of which mutually support and explain each other. So ये इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है। स्टूडेंट्स, एनी क्वेश्चंस? कभी आपने कोलरिज को, बायोग्राफी लिटरेरिया को अपने यूनिवर्सिटी डेज में कभी ऐसे पढ़ा है? कभी आपको पढ़ाया गया है? क्या आपको जो हम पढ़ा रहे हैं और जो आपने कभी खुद से पढ़ा है उसमें कुछ समानता आपको लग रही है? आपको ऐसा लग रहा है कि हाँ, हमारा रिवीजन हो रहा है, या आपको ऐसा लग रहा है कि हमको सब कुछ नया पढ़ाया जा रहा है? इसका आंसर मुझे थोड़ा सा मैसेज बॉक्स पे दें कि कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं लग रहा है कि आपके लिए सब नया नया है, क्योंकि ये बहुत पुराना है। ये बीए डेज से लोग स्टूडेंट्स पढ़ते हैं, बीए डेज से। सो आई वुड आई विश दैट आप लोग इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर हमें स्क्रीन पे दें कि जो आपको अभी तक पढ़ाया वो अभी आप तक कभी आपने पढ़ा है, या आपको लग रहा है कि ये बहुत अच्छा रिवीजन हो रहा है? दोनों में फर्क है, या कभी पढ़ा ही नहीं? Okay, Sushmita, you have written that it was a completely good revision of everything, though you must have not read a lot of technical points which I have discussed here for your examination. क्योंकि जब आप लोगों ने कभी एमए और बीए में पढ़ा होगा तो शायद बहुत ही नॉर्मल तरीके से आपने उसको फिनिश कर लिया होगा। Okay, Subodh, I got your WhatsApp message just now that you have written on my WhatsApp. Okay, you could have written there also that you have you not read ever. You have never read it. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So चलिए, ये अच्छा रहा कि आपको एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक आज बहुत अच्छे से हम उसको करा पाए। पढ़ा हुआ है बट स्टिल यू टॉट समथिंग न्यू। यस सर, इट इज ट्रू। देखिए, ये बात तो सच है स्टूडेंट्स की ये पढ़ा हुआ होगा, बिकॉज इट हैज बीन a compulsory part in your BA and MA days. But the only problem is that students, they don't have the idea of how to tackle these important topics for such a high level examination. And now when you will slowly, steadily getting these lectures, and you will be facing the problems while going through the original papers of NET, तब आपको ये पता चलेगा that how my study materials, how my lectures and how my test series have always been helping you in coming per day close to your dream project. And once you qualify, I hope you will remember your sir and this temple of education, OSN Academy. And this is only my happiness that you remember us, you remember OSN, and just um, uh, have a feeling of appreciation in your heart, and that is what I need. Okay, Matthews, as we were discussing, again you have written the same thing which I have always been facing from the students, that 90% of the students say that, sir, I have never read all these things. Whatever I teach them, they have never read this. उसका reason ये है कि they purchase guidebooks from the market here and there, बस उसको questions को पढ़ लिया, solve कर लिया और जाके एग्जाम में दे आए, और normally बच्चे नंबर पा ही जाते हैं. But that is not your cup of tea. Your cup of tea is now very different. So now I'll just go and detail about the comparison of Wordsworth and Coleridge as critics. Just a comparison of these great poets as critics. So first of all, to compare these two great poets, we have to compare the achievement of Wordsworth and Coleridge. Wordsworth's criticism was limited in scope, whereas the range of Coleridge as a critic was very vast. Very vast. And Wordsworth considered criticism to be an important part of literary studies. I. Richards ने अपनी एक बुक में लिखा है, उस बुक का नाम है कोलरिज ऑन इमेजिनेशन. ये नेट में क्वेश्चन पूछा गया है, हु हैज रिटन कोलरिज ऑन इमेजिनेशन? बाय I. Richards. So I. Richards in his book Coleridge on Imagination tells us that Coleridge's criticism is of a kind that required us to consider our most fundamental conceptions, and he has paved the way of appreciation of great poetry, which is evident in his praise for Wordsworth's poetry. And Wordsworth is mostly subjective, but Coleridge gives ample evidence of both subjectivity and even objectivity. And in Wordsworth's whole approach to poetry and expression, there is an element of primitivism, whereas Coleridge's theory accommodates formal concerns to a considerable degree. His concerns with shape, with form, with embodiment, and his taking meter to be an integral part of the poetic process all point to this. And in this respect, he is a precursor of the new critics. Okay, students? So, this was the distinction, the difference, the comparison between Wordsworth and Coleridge. So, आपके दो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चैप्टर्स आज खत्म हो गए, दैट इज वर्ड्सवर्थ एंड कोलरिज. कल शायद हम लोग करेंगे वॉल्टर पेटर और फिलिप सिडनी, समथिंग लाइक दिस. तो टू ऑथर्स करके हम इसको फिनिश करा देंगे. तो अब बहुत ज्यादा तो बचा नहीं है. ऑलमोस्ट आई हैव कंप्लीटेड द एंटायर कोर्स. कहीं से कुछ रह गया हो तो हमें जरूर बताइएगा, और हम कोशिश करते हैं कि अब रिवीजन का समय आ गया है कि अब आपको हमारे लेक्चर्स, टेस्ट सीरीज, स्टडी मटेरियल्स, क्रैश कोर्स, whatever you have to sit back at your home, and now is the time to just grab this exam of June, and don't dishearten at all in case you qualify, you don't qualify, because this examination is always a process. Once you don't qualify, the next you qualify, the next you don't qualify, the next you qualify. But in between, if you leave your system, then again you are not able to qualify. So इस theory को हमेशा हमारे याद रखिएगा, and you will be a winner always in your life. Everything is a process in itself. ऐसा नहीं होता, and it happens also that you study for 15 days and you qualify. You study for 150 days and you don't qualify. So this is destiny, this is karma, this is your luck, your own input, so many things are associated with the development of your skill, with the development of your ambitions, your dreams, and so many other things which are concerned automatically with everything. So, Matthews, rhetoric and prosody, you have said, but if you see in your latest syllabus, there is no point where rhetoric and prosody is written. So this means that they are not going to ask any questions from rhetoric and prosody this time. So why to waste time? आप अगर यूनिट्स को देखिए तो उसमें कहीं नहीं है. एंड आई वुड ऑल्सो, जहां तक है आपका जो 10th यूनिट है, रिसर्च मेथोडोलॉजी, लकीली all my students who are in the paper 1, they are automatically finishing that research methodology by Dr. Devrat Mishra. And those students who are not in the paper 1 class, I would request Dr. Devrat Mishra to take one class of maybe 90 minutes, 1.5 hours, where he can sum up something about, because he is a very senior professor. He has a great experience on this subject also in the last 20 years. So he can give you an extempore lecture on research methodology, and which will help all the students. So let him come back, and I would request him to give you this lecture at the end of the session. Maybe I would finish somewhere around May end, so that आपके पास बहुत समय नहीं है. अब रिवीजन का टाइम आ चुका है स्टूडेंट्स. तो जिनके पास भी ब्रैंडविड्थ है, जिनके ने लेक्चर्स हमारे रिपीट नहीं किए हैं, दे कैन गो फॉर द रिपीटिशन ऑफ द लेक्चर्स. एंड जो भी हमसे अब बन पड़ता है वो हम आपको खत्म कराने की कोशिश करेंगे. जो भी मैक्सिमम और इम्पोर्टेंट होगा, आई विल थिंक ट्वाइस थ्राइस एंड गिव यू दोज लेक्चर्स. क्योंकि इंग्लिश लिटरेचर क्या है, ये तो कभी ना खत्म होने वाला प्रोसेस है. और दो स्टूडेंट्स who wish to grow to a second level of excellence. Second level means कि लिटरेचर में चूंकि इट इज एन ओशन, हमारे साथ अब और आगे बढ़ना चाहते हैं, और भी हजारों चीजें पढ़ना चाहते हैं, सिंगल नॉवेल, सिंगल वर्क्स, मतलब इतना कुछ कि आप सोच भी नहीं पाएंगे. तो उसके लिए आप एग्जाम दे दीजिए पहले, एंड देन यू कैन ऑल कम बैक टू मी दैट सर नाउ आई वांट टू एक्सेल इन द सेकेंड लेवल ऑफ योर टीचिंग. सो आई वुड मेक अ स्पेशल बैच, एंड दैट विल बी नोन एज अ सीनियर बैच. उस सीनियर बैच में एडमिशंस होंगे, और उसमें सिर्फ वही बच्चे एडमिशन ले सकते हैं जो हमारे मॉर्निंग और इवनिंग बैच के जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं वो एक सेकेंड लेवल पे जाना चाहते हों. सिर्फ उन्हीं का एडमिशन होगा. नॉर्मली बाहर के स्टूडेंट्स का उसमें एडमिशन नहीं होगा, क्योंकि वो उस ब्रांडविड्थ को, हमारे उस लेवल को समझ नहीं पाएंगे. क्योंकि आप सब कुछ कर चुके हैं, यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड दैट लेवल टू ग्रो टू दैट लेवल ऑफ एक्सेलेंस. सो स्टूडेंट्स, ये नहीं है मैथ्यूज. मैंने कहा ना, ये आपके यूनिट्स में इन्होंने इस बार नहीं दिया है. और बाकी अगर आप इसको पढ़ना चाहते हैं तो देखिएगा हमारी स्टडी मटेरियल्स में एक फाइल है, उसमें पीछे कहीं पे इंपॉर्टेंट टर्म्स है, लिटरेरी टर्म्स में देखिएगा, उसमें रिटोरिक एंड प्रोसिडी भी है. तो वो आप उसको पढ़ करके वहां से आप बहुत आसानी से उसको आप समझ सकते हैं. एंड इट हैज नथिंग टू डू विद एक्सप्लेनिंग हियर इन द बोर्ड. Okay, students, so be prepared for the test series now, and meet you tomorrow then. Thank you.